In the year 2000, present-day Manaus is the largest industrial producer of electrical components in Latin America, and its free trade zone makes it an almost perfect fiscal paradise, a good laugh at inflation. More than half of the televisions in Brazil are made here, and they cost a third of their price in the rest of the country. In less than a century, Manaus has changed from being known as the Paris of the tropics to the Hong Kong of the Amazon. There are many treasure hunters wandering around here. The mysterious and powerful natural environment is still a big value on the rise. We will stealthily approach our next protagonist. For years, white men have come to lay waste to the Amazon jungle, as we can see here, sometimes in search of an odd El Dorado to be found through the indigenous cultures, in exceptional creatures such as this one. This small, extremely interesting frog is known as Phylomedusa bicolor, its scientific name. If I were to kiss it, like in the fairy tale, in search of a Prince Charming, my lips would swell immediately. Its skin holds some interesting secrets for the multinational pharmaceutical companies. Certainly, if we kiss this Amazonian frog, we would quickly begin to hallucinate. And it wouldn't be difficult to see anyone within range turn into a psychedelic prince or princess. The secretion covering its skin is toxic, and the international laboratories know it. The genus Phylomedusa, which this frog belongs to, is characterized by its mucus, from which specialists have been able to isolate 300 bioactive compounds. The poison from the skin of this animal is 27 times stronger than morphine. Knowing this, in January of 1998, Abbott Laboratories, one of the world powers in the pharmaceutical and chemical sector, announced the marketing of a new compound, ABT-694, derived precisely from an existing toxin in the body of one of these tiny animals. The final result was a new generation of analgesics able to replace opium derivatives to fight against chronic pain, and a booming business of $500 million. The Amazon region, however, does not receive a single dime from the profits.
The Phylomedusa has two colors just like other frogs and toads, just like this marine toad from Amazonia, a genus found all over the world. It has been introduced in Australia, and like other toads and frogs, its skin has poisonous glands, chemical substances that are poisonous. Young people in Australia have begun to use it as a hallucinogenic drug. These are the parotid glands, which are poisonous. Like some other glands, but the poison is concentrated here. And sometimes the young people grab the frogs and lick them. Then, if this substance is ingested in small doses, it's hallucinogenic. But that's very dangerous because swallowing a lot of it is fatal. As with dogs, dogs often bite the frogs and swallow the poison. Alkaloids are very dangerous and they often die.
The batrachotoxin that accumulates on the skin of these delicate little frogs is the most powerful substance of non-protein origin found in nature to date. The dendrobates are only trying to ward off predators, but every year, thousands of these creatures are captured in the Amazon and taken to different laboratories around the world. Some labs will pay over $250 for just one frog, which they could have bought for less than $1 in any village.
Recently, a German man carrying 550 specimens was arrested in the Sao Paulo airport. One of the specimens confiscated is in this picture. We were able to donate them to the university. He was taking them to Germany and Holland. Their final destination was most likely a laboratory to analyze their main biological components. There are also cases of biopiracy with some plants. For example, in the case of some natural active elements, there are times where a large pharmaceutical laboratory will spend even as much as $300 million on research until they will finally find a product which is achieved and they feel that they can put on the market.
Although the results of the research favor human health, the massive exportation methods, and above all, the acquisition of wealth at the cost of the countries of origin, is atrocious. It's a good idea to ask some questions which have never been answered. Who owns the patents on these discoveries? And thus, who should benefit from them? Land isn't the only thing stolen from the indigenous peoples. Their knowledge is too. And all the pharmaceutical products on the market that we have referred to were naively revealed to big companies, which today patent this alien but lucrative information. The natural medicines of the Amazonian natives are being bottled and sold by multi-millionaire biohijackers. For example, a biological bactericidal and cicatrizant ointment is extracted from the venom of this rattlesnake, which means a pharmaceutical revolution for substituting traditional stitches. The Tucanos, Araras, and Yanomamis have known about the virtues of snake poison for centuries and have shared their knowledge with biologists paid by laboratories. They cannot imagine that these snakes are worth $20,000 in Singapore. Let's go back to the story of our frog. The Philomedusa's poison is a hard drug.
I had the opportunity to try it. To have that experience here in Amazonia through someone called Mestre, who lived with the Indians for a long time, 14 years. He had what is known as a vaccine, which is the secretion that he placed on a stick and preserved it like that, dehydrated. He brought it and applied that vaccine to many people, and I was there accompanying him to see what happened and to learn a little bit more about it. I was out of it for a while, a few minutes, and then regained consciousness and began to realize where I was. But I did hallucinate, and I did not enjoy it. I felt like I lost 1 or 2 liters of water in just minutes. Really, I sweated it out through my skin.